Hey, hi guys, welcome back. All right, so Cancerians, I am going to be doing just one video for you guys per week now, unless I see 700 thumbs up on videos, just because I'm realizing if I'm not, like anyone's cup of tea, then I don't want to spend a bunch of time creating content. And, like I always say, why would you make a huge buffet if nobody's going to come and eat it, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just do one per week for you guys from now on. But if I see 700 thumbs up, then I'll do a second video for you guys. And I'm going to do that with several different zodiacs and kind of shift over so that my channels can reflect the actual viewership that's watching and interacting. I'm completely, you just know I'm so grateful that any of you guys choose to visit. And so for those of you who want it, then it gives you the opportunity. There's always about, like 1,500 to 2,000 people that watch. So, if the majority of you are telling me that you want another video, then I'll certainly do it for you. So that's why I'm like, 700 is a good number. And then if you guys don't care to see another video in the week, that's totally fine. I'll still make sure that I always give those of you who do want them at least one per week. Okay. So with that in mind, this is going to be your one this week, unless I see interaction. Otherwise, I'll see you guys again next week. But this is really a fun one because we have been having this huge geomagnetic storm, right? And the geomagnetic storm that has been kind of like creating a really beautiful and visible aurora borealis, in further southern territories than usual. That's kind of a beautiful and exciting thing. Hi, everyone. So good to see you. But it just comes across like, the fact that we have this, sun engaging with us like that, those big coronal mass ejections that are the cause of this, visibility of aurora borealis, all of that can indicate like flushing out of old energy. It can also be a time for great awakening. So that's kind of the way I wanted to look at this story. So we have the Hermit upright, and that is strong Virgo energy. So I will say we have a masculine here, and we could have, it almost looks like he's sitting out here in these same mountains that are behind me. We have possibly someone who's been very silent, possibly a masculine, who is like being heavily influenced right now. Maybe he is, this is normally somebody on their dark night of the soul. So they're thinking about things. They are, internally finding answers within themselves, and sometimes just finding like their own inner compass, their own inner North Star, right? We have a Page of Wands upright. Page of Wands is somebody who then physically takes a step towards something that they want, the first step towards something. And the pages are our messengers. The pages in particular, the Page of Wands is like, I have a spark of a creative idea, or I maybe have found an answer about what I'd like to do, and I'd like to step forward. And we go from nighttime to, broad daylight and a cold environment to someplace quite sunny. So I'm wondering if we don't have a divine masculine who is really being heavily impacted right now. And this is somebody who would have been withdrawn in themselves for some period of time, somebody who perhaps has been keeping to themselves, and they're having a moment of inspiration. With the 10 of Wands here, they definitely could be somebody who is experiencing like that purge of old energy blockage with this huge, surge of energy coming from the sun right now. This could be super positive. If he is laying down blockages, I get this impression that this could be somebody who was like, sometimes we start to like self-loathe, or we start to have really poor opinions of our own selves. And then that influences like the way we're acting and the way we're, seeing the world and the way we're seeing ourselves. And if he had been doing that to himself, this could be the moment he goes, oh my God, what have I been doing? This is not the way I want to treat myself. We have Queen of Pentacles upright. Who is Queen of Pentacles in your mind? I don't know if this is somebody who this could be a boss figure. This could be somebody who's on his mind pretty heavily. Let me ask, who is Cancer in all of this before I go any further? Let's go with this deck. Who is Cancer? Yael, thank you so much. Oh my God. Yael, thank you, honey. Yael just gifted 5 memberships. You're so incredibly generous, sweetheart. Brandon Story, you are now a member. Riopsic Medium. I'm so sorry that I know I just probably made a mess of your name. I apologize. Sean Brucker, uh, Nurgulmak Hamatova. Again, I please apologize, or I apologize for my poor pronunciation. And Gis, Ghis. Thank you so much. You guys are all now members, and that is courtesy of Yael. Yael, thank you so much, babe. You are so generous. Grazie. Say hello to the three musketeers for me. You're so kind. Who is Cancer in all of this? Cancer is Page of Cups, Queen of Pentacles, okay, and Six of Pentacles. So now we can confirm in this storyline, they see Cancer as a Queen of Pentacles, right? I asked the direct question, we got a direct answer. So Cancer is coming across as someone sitting in the divine feminine energy and very stable, somebody who might have been very generous with them, could have been somebody very generous with time, emotion, energy, somebody who they see as grounded and stable, solid in their emotions, solid in the way they share their energies. All of this could be like they see Cancer as somebody who's also given like generously to them, and that could be generous in the form of financial support or emotional support, or just simply, you know how there are people's energy in this world that are just so amazing, and it's like, I'm so glad that you exist. I'm so glad that you speak for something that means something. I'm so relieved to know that there's your voice is among the many on this planet. It could be something like that. Cancer comes across as somebody that they greatly admire, that they are very aware, brings a lot of balance. And again, with that Six of Pentacles, it's somebody who they feel they both owe Cancer some kind of an apology, but also that they would like very much to be able to give to Cancer. Who are you, character? Who are you in regards to Cancer? Like, what was your relationship? 10 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords in the reverse. I would say they are somebody who already had opportunity to perhaps be in a 10 of Pentacles kind of relationship, right? A family-oriented, business-oriented, something where it's like me and Cancer, we really could have been, side by side and, standing together. However, maybe it wasn't the right time, or maybe I was still tangled up. You notice with the 8 of Swords in the reverse, there's no more of that blockage. But once upon a time, I mean, maybe this person felt like a scared rabbit. We do have that clock that is, tied to them. Maybe they were always like moving a goalpost and saying, it's not time yet. I can't be with Cancer yet. Cancer is certainly the person that they see as, if they see Cancer as a Queen of Pentacles and they want to give with the Six of Pentacles, and now we see it as the 10 of Pentacles, this is somebody with very serious intentions toward Cancer. They want to live with Cancer. They want to wake up with Cancer. They want to have pancakes with Cancer. They want to go to the grocery store and pick out onions together. Like, they want the whole thing. They want to be with Cancer now. With that Hermit, Page of Wands, and the 10 of Wands, the fact that the blockage that they experienced, they're having a breakthrough on, or like I said, it's purging their old energy. I want to go back to that because that's a wonderful, if that's what the surge of energy from the cosmos is, inspiring right now, how beautiful is that? But let's just see. And bear in mind, the sun is the traditional, cosmic representation of the divine masculine. And I would say in some of the videos that I was able to get to yesterday in the first part of the day, we did see a lot of like divine masculine, beautiful activation and, empowerment. So maybe that is part of this here as well. But we have a 4 of Pentacles. We have a 4 of Swords. So the I'll say balancing act of they, at some point anyway, in the past, they felt like I should not be trying to create a relationship. I am too scarred. I can't give enough. I can't give equally. So I shouldn't be trying to give anything to Cancer because it's not going to be fair, because I know that I carry whatever this is that I haven't healed from yet. Do you want to tell us what that was? Or is this just your time to have purged from it so you don't need to carry it anymore? I don't really want to bring stuff up to a character if they've finally said, I just unpacked that shit. I don't need you packing it back up, handing the box back to me. We got the 5 of Wands. It was something that they went round and round and round in their head. So they could have been stuck on a cyclical viewpoint. And maybe it simply was, I don't feel like I have enough to offer. I want to offer, but I don't feel like I have enough to offer. I want to, but I don't feel like I can. It might have just been that, it's so easy. Like I said at the beginning, it got some weird, like self-loathing kind of energy or feeling of inadequacies, which, I mean, I think that's a very relatable thing, masculine or feminine, that we question, like, what am I here for? Am I worthy? I think those are really common, like, human questions that we ask ourselves. And it's so sad that we do that to ourselves, because the fact that we're on this beautiful planet, there's only one planet that we know of in all the solar systems. There's only one that we can confirm can host our life, and that is here, that is Earth. And we got lucky enough to be here. That is proof that we are very, very important. Every single one of us is so incredibly important, because there's only one place in the entire galaxy that can host us. And we ended up here. I mean, how lucky is that? That is such, if we could always remember that, I think we wouldn't ever walk around and feel like, I don't think I'm not sure if I'm good enough. I'm not sure. Maybe we would instead celebrate and be like, I can't believe how lucky I am. I can't believe how lucky I am. I get to experience all this. Let me see what's the best stuff I could do with my time. Probably it's never going to be a good use of our time to walk around and say, I don't think I'm worthy. Probably it'd be better if we said, this is a great gift. I'm really lucky. Let me rock this. Let me do the most I can, the best I can, the most beautiful things I can. Let me see every sunrise and sunset I can possibly manage. Let me keep marveling at how awesome it is that in this whole galaxy, this is the only place I can live, and I ended up here. Just a gift. It could change perspectives. Anyway, he's changed his perspective, as we can see. We have a 4 of Wands. We have an 8 of Wands. He is revved up. He is excited about being here. I don't think he's caught up in the dark night of the soul, pondering, wondering, if he has a right to be here, or if he has something to offer, or if he's good enough. I think he's in a place where he's like, damn, Skippy, I got a lot to do. I got a lot of love in me. I could share that with my Cancer. I could give my energy to building something beautiful. It sounds simple, but it's not. It's a major perspective shift. It is the difference between, pessimism and optimism. It is a completely different way to look at, instead of looking at every sunrise and going, yeah, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with all this. Instead, it's like, look at this. I get another sunrise. This is so awesome. I get a whole nother day to frolic and do things that are enjoyable. And loving somebody is enjoyable, So he has a really big change, a really big mindset shift. And I think this is going to impact everything. Let me check in on just Cancer. And actually, I want to get just a message only for Cancer in all this. Here we go. Let's take a peek. Michelle Lovell, you angel. Mona Gypsy, hi, babe. Good to see you guys. We have Luminous Warrior. I only read this deck in the upright, by the way. So the big message for Cancer, and maybe this explains why they're drawn to Cancer. Cancer could be like, let's say, an agent of the sun, so to speak. Cancer may be someone who does radiate that kind of joy, and someone who, fiercely defends, like, you have a right to be here. You have a reason to be here. When we talk about a luminous warrior, we're talking about bright and beautiful. If you're going to defend things that are wonderful, it is somebody who could be very reassuring that, like, you should enjoy your life. You should know that you have a purpose here. That feels so wonderful. That is perhaps one of the gifts that Cancer shines on this earth. Whether or not Cancer knew this, is this being illuminated to Cancer during this time? Because remember that this energetic, juice that is, flowing around all of us right now would not just impact the masculine, but also in this case, our Cancerian. It's so funny because I was going to say it almost feels like Cancer is a bit of a little earth angel here. And sure enough, we have Earth Keeper. And that maybe explains why Cancer is coming out twice as a Queen of Pentacles. Cancer could be, think of them like a grounding rod. Cancer could be somebody who is a touchstone. Like maybe Cancer already believes this, the way we've been talking about this, this positive perspective, and that, this is a beautiful world. and enjoy and know that you're worthy to be here. Cancer may literally like live that truth. And if they inherently know that and believe that and they feel very connected to the earth and, their purpose of being here, I could see how Cancer would be like re-energized and reminded of that front and center, because that is already how they live. But that's a real beautiful thing. If Cancer doesn't know what a huge impact they have or what a touchstone they are for other people, I think Cancer makes a lot of people's lives better with that profound belief, because I think they instill it in other people around them as well. That is such a gift. Imagine, if that's what you do, you make other people know that they're important. I don't think you could do better with your life's work, your life's energy on this planet. This Cancer is such a beautiful person. I so enjoy them. This is the kind of person I would be friends with for sure. So Cancer, what do you feel about this individual who is clearly having some pretty profound awakening on their own side right now? We have Page of Swords. Cancer's like, I've been spying a little bit. Knight of Pentacles. Maybe for a while. I've wondered if they're going to stay out in the cold, or I've wondered if because I kind of feel their energy around me. And I've been kind of maybe thinking like, hey babe, get on the fast train and come my way. When you're ready. I've done a little spying on them, and I've known that they move real slow, but I've always hoped that they would speed up a bit. I've always hoped that they would, why stay out in the yard when you could come on in and actually like enjoy life with me. Kind of feels like Cancer knows that this person cares about them, knows that this person has been intentionally like self-isolating and has kind of been their own stumbling block. And it just feels like Cancer has always hoped that this individual would choose to, I don't know, just hop on the train and move forward, do something instead that makes you happy, embrace the fact that this is your life and just go for it. Ace of Cups in the reverse, King of Cups in the reverse, Tower in the reverse. But I think Cancer was wise enough to say, but I can't give somebody self-love. And if they stay out in the cold because they won't let themselves love themselves, and they certainly won't let me love them, if that's the way they're going to continue to stay, and they won't let that tower fall, they have to choose to want to hold my hand. I can't force them. It's the same way where, if you have a feral cat, you may put food out for them, but you don't run up and grab them and, hi, kitty, kitty. I mean, they don't want to be held. They have to choose to be less feral, and granted, you can build trust slowly with them, but you don't usually do it by snagging them and holding on to them. And, you're going to be my best kitty cat. You'll love living in the house with me. Like, that feral cat doesn't want to be held. Instead, you just put out the food and you let them decide, how close to you they want to get, how comfortable they feel. Maybe they'll always be your front porch cat. Maybe someday you'll get to pet them, but, they got to make that decision on their own to a certain extent. I feel like Cancer understands that. The most I could do is see them from afar, wish good thoughts for them. That's the equivalent of putting out the cat food. But if they stay a feral cat, they may stay a feral cat. I can't change that. But it doesn't change the fact that I know that they're valuable and important. So I can always convey that. And I think that's such a beautiful message. I think that's like such a gentle, I don't know, just like really lovely way for Cancer to say, I can always tell somebody that I think the world of them. Doesn't mean they're going to believe it. But when you tell somebody that and you don't put the obligation that then they have to react in a certain way, and you just let it be, sometimes that's like the greatest act of love. It's just freely saying, well, you are important. You're important to me. But that's about all I can say. You have to decide, whether or not you accept that. I feel like that's exactly the way Cancer has handled this person. And I think that they kind of are doubling down on that, but realizing that was the best thing I could have done with my energy in regards to this person, but maybe in regards to everybody. I don't think Cancer wants to like spend their life chasing people around to try to convince them of things. I think Cancer just speaks simple truths and lets people agree or disagree. But it doesn't change the way they see the world through a really valuable lens. And I think that is probably the greatest energy our Cancer could possibly have. The way they behave is so, I feel like it truly lets people be sovereign And I think that's always a beautiful person who doesn't need to control other people, isn't spending their time, saying, come on, you need to change. Cancer's like, you can do what you have to, even though, I care about you and you are super important, but I also know that's all I can do is tell you that. And you have to get to the point where you believe it. That's pretty big of Cancer to be able to not, try to leverage and pull gears and, persuade and coerce. That's actually really, I would say, like very evolved of Cancer. So at this point, then, can I just ask? We saw at the beginning that divine masculine seems to be having quite the awakening. So what is coming next for him? The Empress. I would say his mind is turning to Cancer in a really, really, really big way. Now we have Queen of Wands. Cancer has been the Queen of Pentacles for them. Magician and Seven of Swords. They are having this other realization. They were a little scared of Cancer. For a while, they were scared of Cancer. Cancer is very sexy to them. Cancer has it going on, and they want to be with Cancer, but they're just now realizing Cancer was probably the person I was most afraid of also. At that Seven of Swords, I was finding reasons to not feel good enough. Now I want to find reasons to give to Cancer, but for the longest time, I was actually scared of Cancer because I knew that they were really spectacular. I knew they were an Empress. I knew they were the Queen of Wands. I knew they were the Queen of Pentacles. So that put more pressure on me to try to feel worthy. It's pretty awesome that they took the time to, go into their hermit mode, go into that energy of thinking things through. By the way, that Magician makes them also possibly a Virgo or Gemini, and the Hermit, of course, made them possibly as a Virgo as well. So this person's done some pretty deep thinking, and it seems like they're coming out, in a much better energy. It feels like they're coming out much clearer visioned. They're calling themselves out on the carpet for, their own fears and the lies that they told themselves. And I think just all of that is really going to help this relationship actually to start to get off the ground and start to, blossom and grow. So anyway, I'm going to leave this one here. I see this person approaching Cancer for a genuine offer at this point. All right, you guys, really nice to see you all. For Heat of Beauty, Teresa, great to see you guys. GRC10P, hey. Small Person, hey, Jason. Thanks again, Michelle. Crystal Clear, Mona Gypsy, Yael, thank you again, honey. Thank you so much. Jennifer, hi, hon. Annie S., good to see you. Lion Queen, you angel, nice to hang with you. Bruise Like Violets, Anisha Chechu, thank you again, you guys. Really wonderful to see you all. All right, guys. I will either see you again at the end of this week if we get the number of, upvotes for it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week for a Cancer video. All right, take care. Bye.